Witch and the Beast Volume 6 Review. Ashaf, the mage, has taken Godot on the perilous journey below the earth to the land of the vampires. Arlencia said, this involves wearing black clothing, 19th century style, of course. As according to Ashaf, the context they put about the meat would expect them to do so. After all, it's a shade favored by vampires, but the coach they're traveling in is attacked by a powerful and dangerous vampire, Dunward, who instantly targets Jadu. It seems that he and the mage Oscar, who, in spite of their name, unworthy presents themselves as female, are Rashal's contacts and voice from the Order. And Orlencia said, almost immediately, all four are ambushed by vampire hunters, and after a vicious battle, Oscar tells them, if you're looking for leads on a witch, our goals may be enlightenment. The vampire we seek is the queen. A plan is set up. Oscar Dunward will take Ashap and Godot to the event held by the Unclade. One of the most powerful vampire factions is ostensibly an elegant masked sorry, yet it's merely a front of selection delicious prey. But unreliable Dunward reveals his true agenda and identity in front of the assembled vampires until late. Ashaf realized that they have been unwittingly involved in the plot. One of the initial problems with The Witch and the Beast was the style employed by the mangaka when drawing action scenes, and this is a series filled with both magical duels and large-scale battles. Unfortunately, the magical encounters in these chapters are often confusingly portrayed, a step backward sadly, and there are many panels depicting these which are filled with so much rolling darkness and action lines that it's hard to tell who's fighting whom, which means that their impact is muted and the reader begins to lose interest while this reader. Another problem which is really noticeable in this volume is the lack of development given to the main character. It scores points in gothic atmosphere, but spends far too much time in a rather convoluted setup within the vampire society which, intriguing as it is, seems unnecessarily convoluted. 6 volumes in, and we still know practically nothing about Ashaf. He is a mage and he uses ravens, or the illusion of ravens is trademark project. We also know that he and Jadu are in pursuit of the witch, Angela, who was cursed Jadu. But the final quest is hardly alluded to in these chapters. There might be a hint at the final pages, but it's left to the reader to try to fathom out of the encounter portrayed that was relevant in any way to the main Vic story. We have to guess that it is, but it's all rather vague, which undermines its effectiveness as foreshadowing. It's doubly disappointing as well, as the imitating conversion at the end of Volume 5 had a Shap telling Godot straight out that he was going to teach her a very important lesson, and there's very little sign of that taking place, impossible to read one's self. But the impression that a lot of wheel spinning is going on here, it's not easy to work out why. At the very moment, when the mangaka needs to go deeper into the characters and their motivations and advance the plot, this seems to get distracted by the interstices of the vampire society they created. The translation is yet again by ably delivered by Kevin Gifford, with lettering by Phil Christie for Kodansha manga. Doubly frustrating is the fact that the good quarter of this volume is taking up with Chapter 0, Witch and Whim and One Shot, and it seems Sataki's first published manga, which is set in the medievalish fantasy world and introduces the theme of the pretty but playfully willful witch that the mangaka goes on to develop in The Witch of the Beast. The bonus is P.S. Beyond Death, a rather dull little story about necromancer Panora Crystalfell, Volume 2, granted a wish of a bereaved daughter and to be careful what you wish for tradition. 6/10.